So good morning all. So this is Selvakumar from SNS College of Technology and Department of Computer Engineering. So now I am going to tell about C data types. So C data types. So in a C programming, data types are declaration of variables. So this determines the type and the size of data associated with the variables. For example, int myvar. So here myvar is a variable int an integer types. So the size of int is 4 bytes. C data types are used for identify the types of variable when it is declared, identify the types of return values of function, identify the types of parameter expected by a function. So data types in C: basics, derived, enumeration, and wide. So ANSI C provides three types of data types. So primary, built-in data types, and it is built into data types and built-in the data types. There are 5 primary fundamental data types. So int for integer data, character for character data, float for floating point numbers. So double for double precision floating point numbers, and wide. So following table displays the size and range of each data types. So each and every data type have a size in bytes because of we have to we find the range to use for the data types. In between the range, the data type is going to use for the down. So we have a n number of data types like character or signed character, unsigned character, int or unsigned signed character, short int or unsigned short int, and signed short int, basically like this. So primary data types. So every C compiler supports 5 primary data types like wide, integer, character, float, double, and int star, float pointer, character pointer. So the wide is just the name suggesting that it holds a value, and it is generally used for specifying the types of functions or what is written. So if the function has a void type, so it means that the function will not return any value. So integer means used to denote an integer type, and a character means used to denote a character type. Float and double, it is used to denote a floating point type, and used to denote a pointer type. So in basic data types, primary data types, we have integer, floating point character. So in integer we have signed and unsigned characters like int, short int, long int, and unsigned is int, short int, long int. A floating point like a float double and a long double, and a character is called as a character, signed character, and unsigned characters. So in a C data types, so integer data types will be divided into 3 categories. So the first one is the integer data types. It is set of whole numbers. So every integer's values does not have the decimal value. So we use the keyword int to represent integers data types in a C. So we use the keyword to declare that variable and so specify the return type of a functions. So the integer data type is used with a different type of modifier like a short, long, and a signed and unsigned. So the following table provides the complete details about the integer data types like integer have a size of 2, and a short integer have a size of 2, and a long integer have size of 4, and a unsigned integer have size of 2, and a long integer size of 4. So the each and every have a specifier like modulo d and modulo d and modulo u. So this is the specific format of printing the C program in these screens. So in a C data type, so the integers are whole number that can have both zeros and positives and negatives values, but no decimal values. For example, 0, -5, and 10. So we can use int for declaring an integer values, and int is an id. So here id is a variable or type integer. So we can declare multiple variables at once in a C program. For example, int id comma age. So it is used to 4 bytes and 32 bytes, and it can take a 2 power 32 destination states from the 2 power 1 sections. So in this data type, so short and long data type will use it for if you needed to use a larger number, you can use a type specifier long dot. Here shows so long a, long b, and a long double c. So here variables a and b can store integer values, and c can store a floating point number. So if you are use purely only a small integer, so you can be will be used, you can use a short integer. So signed and unsigned data types. So if there are the modifiers, so you can alter the data storage of a data type by using them. For example, unsigned int x and int y. So here the variable x can hold only a 0 and positive values because we have to use the unsigned modifier. So we have the size int and 4 bytes variable. So y it can hold the values from 2 power 31 and 2 power 34 minus 1 because of hold the values in the unsigned integers. So floating point data types. So in a floating point data types, there are a set of numbers with the decimal values. Every floating point values must contains values. The floating point data type have two variants. One is a float and double, one second is double. So this is have a same float and double, and long double have a different such as 4, 8, and 10. So we have different specifiers called modulo f and modulo d and modulo ld for a long double. So in a floating and doubles, we have see floating point numbers can also be represented in an exponential. For example, float normalization factor equal to 22.4 and 222. So what's the difference between float and double? So the single person data type is 4 bits and the size of double will be 8 bits. That's all. So this is the character data set for character and ancient characters. Please refer it. So this is see different data types with the memory size and what the integer floating point will be used for double and characters. So this is data type for declaration of primary data set with variable names and with variables int age, in character length, float height. We have to give the input like int age for numbers and the letters for characters and the height within floating point. Thank you.